I think we ought to start the game.
Look where we are. We're here in my home studio, and I'm here with my friends Dave Sloan and Alison Smith. It's National Scrabble Day, so we're just going to play some Scrabble and talk about what these two are up to, because I have a feeling you two, you're always somewhere doing something. So,
Well, we got a couple things going on.
The dust doesn't settle.
No.
So we're just going to play some Scrabble and talk a little bit.
Oh, look, I have a.
You,
Wait. You've already put your hand in the bag and everything?
yeah, it's going to be hard to beat an A, isn't it? So, maybe one of you can tell me, like, about one of your many ventures that you've got going on.
Well, first off, I'm an artist.
Yes.
I've had a couple showings in town. I do black and white work for the most part, and play around with color sometimes. But that's been kind of fun. That keeps me busy when I'm not doing anything else.
Our viewers are seeing some of your artwork right now. What do you have to say about this piece?
Cross-section of a particular thought process. I went through a point where I was thinking about cross-sections a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out eventually through several drawings that it can be kind of playful.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not a literal title at all, but it makes me wonder as I look at it, could this be part of what's going on inside of my own mind, my own brain?
I've seen it hanging kind of all over town.
The most recent one was at the Latchkey Deli. And now I have some pieces hanging at Archibald's as well. I like to call my work actually organic abstract.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original concept I came up with. I'm not a figurative drawer at all. I couldn't draw an eye. I can't draw a nose. I can barely draw a teacup. I just study a blank sheet of paper and just let my hands start moving. Mm-hmm. And refining, and eventually I would, add another piece to it and another piece after that, and then the act of bringing it out off the paper was very fulfilling. I'm playing bridge, just keeping score. So that's 2, 3, 4.
You must keep
5,
score.
6.
How many did you get?
12.
12 points. This is not a game that I play too often. I tend to think that Scrabble rewards your knowledge of 2- and 3-letter words a lot,
Yeah.
and that's not how I personally like to play. I like to just string the longest word I can.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then I get destroyed by people who play 2-letter words.
Yeah.
So.
Or that you've made a marvelous word that is a bajillion points and then they put an S on the end. Pretty clever there. Yeah. One of the projects that we have going on that takes the majority of our bandwidth is our magazine.
This is the magazine they're talking about, which is The Juice.
A couple of years ago, we were sitting around on a Sunday afternoon and
Wait. Are you telling the
I'm telling it from the very beginning.
It kind of evolved over time, but we have kind of built up the folklore that goes with it. So you tell the folklore. Here we go.
So
the legend of the juice.
The legend of the juice. Yes.
So anyway, a couple of years ago, we were sitting around on a Sunday, and we kind of wanted to do something, and so we started looking around and finding it really kind of difficult, to find out what was going on. But it was all scattered all over, so it would take a while to find something. Once in a previous life, I had worked on a magazine called Panache in Rapid City, South Dakota. What we did with that was arts and entertainment specifically. We didn't touch anything else but that. I suggested to Alison, why don't we do that? Or why can't we do that?
Yes, and then we said, oh, hell yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Abandon all normalcy. Let's take over our entire lives. Part of my frustration had been that I would find these marvelous things that I would want to do, and I would flag them as interested, or hey, I want to go to this. And then the event would happen, and then I would see great pictures from the event, and I would be like, wait, because I had lost track of it. I didn't, Facebook was, unless you are on it a lot, there's so many ways to get lost.
It took us a couple of weeks to get it going. And starting to go in and search for everything that we could find that was going on, and listing all of these meetings and doing it in a way that was easy to find. And, you would know where to go to look for it.
We're having breakfast at 7:15 one morning. We hadn't gone in there before, and we just decided we're just going to go.
I was still new in town.
Yeah, well, you've been here a couple of years.
Still new.
And they brought out juice, brought me some orange juice, and literally that's where it came from. Source information that we're going to put in our calendar. You've been sitting there with your idea the whole time.
I had several ideas, and I was just seeing what letters went down on the board. Like I said, I don't play for a maximum score. I just want a long word. So that's why I'm currently in third place. So
at one point we realized we'd included somebody's funeral. I was like, whoa, how did that get in? No, even if it's public, we don't need it.
Right.
So how do we sift through stuff? And as we started in 2019, the fall of 2019. And
rough time to start.
We didn't know that.
Yeah, no, none of us knew what was coming. Yeah.
It's a labor of love, number one, and number two, and maybe these should be switched. I'm not sure, but we needed to have it for the community. Yeah. Because even though everything is online, it still takes a lot of time to find something going on. It does, and we wanted to have it in print so that you could actually hold it in your hands and refer to it again and again.
I mean, when he first described it, I was like, yeah, you can make this nice little newslettery thing and take it around to the neighborhood. And he was like, no, that's not what I mean, and think bigger. So it did, at this point, there's about 500 events in each issue.
And you can just turn to the page, and there's the date, and there are all the things from that day in chronological order.
I mean, the challenge of print is that as soon as you print something, it's immediately out of date. Because of the way there was all this unknown with this parade.
Right.
And then information went out that it was going to be on Saturday. And then you see all these events canceling on Saturday. So I'm frantically in there, writing canceled ahead of because we have the backup now that it's online. You could actually literally, you're looking over our shoulder. That's literally where we pull the information from our own calendar that you're watching. You can now see. And then it came out that the parade is actually going to be on Sunday. So then there was this immediate about face. Oh, okay. So we actually, forget what we said last night. We are going to have. It is going to happen. So in that case, it was
for you.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Well, and that's one thing. And then as soon as we put this thing to the printer, turn it into the printer, we find 5 other things that we missed.
Right.
Every single time.
Sure. So coming out with an event magazine at the time that you did, March 2020 comes along, and all of a sudden, all events are canceled. So
well, they canceled.
This is like. Okay, Dave's birthday.
They canceled my birthday.
Yeah, Dave's birthday is he's like, I want to do something really special for this issue. Let's go out because it is in black and white. And we've decided we actually, even if we could afford the color, we want to stick with black and white, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. It can be color online, but and we can talk about those types of things in the future. But he says, let's really jazz it up. Let's get these stickers. We got these flashy, sparkly shamrock stickers, and every one of them have another 1,000 of them. Yeah. And they canceled the parade. I'm just like, oh my god. And we tried to do some issues online, but it
It didn't feel
How-
right.
and we couldn't do a calendar because everything was just
Nothing's happening.
yeah. And for a while I tried to keep up with the calendar, but at that point there wasn't a digital version of there wasn't like a live calendar like we have now,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was just like this.
It was really static.
Yeah. And then we were just kind of in shock, I think, the way a lot of people were.
Mhm.
And, you know, I crocheted a really funky scarf.
I got a lot of drawing done.
Yeah. Using little bits of yarn that I found around.
Time for the cute pet of the day. It's what you've all been waiting for. Today, please meet Cuddles. Cuddles lives with friend of the show, Pete, in Champaign, Illinois. And Cuddles does not want Pete to get off the recliner and go to work. For what it's worth, Pete, I don't want that either. You stay right there. You too can have your pet appear on Northeast Kansas at Home. Just send us a picture and a little blurb about what your pet likes to do all day.
And I also dove deep into, I got interested in vintage sewing machines. I found one on the side of the road. And I never thought of myself as a mechanical person. And I was like, hey, what else have I got to do? So between me and YouTube and this machine I found on the side of the road, I got really into repairing vintage sewing machines. And
Wow.
in the span of, what, like 3 months, we went from having one sewing machine to 15 and plus more in the garage. And I don't really sew, so... But
that says a lot, though. I think a lot of us, if we are lucky and we had the bandwidth to do it, we all just kind of found other things that weren't necessarily our areas of expertise and learned some things.
yeah, well, it was nice to prove to myself that I could take something of a machine and make it go again.
Mhm.
That I could figure out how to do that. That was really empowering.
If the real apocalypse comes, you're set.
That's right, because I got all the little bitty tools now to get into it. So, but and at that point, we'd already kind of switched gears, and we're really focusing on our mushrooms and on our farm.
Mhm.
As you may have gathered, we have completely no self-control when we get a good idea or think we have one. We decided that we should
We
buy.
can do
yeah, we
this.
can do this.
You are in good company. Let me tell you.
Bought some fruiting blocks that were shipped to us from Indiana,
Mhm.
and
We put together a fruiting chamber and fruiting room. We went out and got some tarps and some heavy duty plastic. You know, there are a lot of things, a lot of ways to do mushrooms, but you know, even as few as 10 years ago, this was almost unknown.
not on this
Mhm.
continent.
Yeah.
There just wasn't the infrastructure to support small farmers like us.
Mhm.
You had to, yeah. People contact us all the time. Do you sell spores? We do not sell spores. That's a different thing.
Mhm.
Yes, there are spores coming from our mushrooms. These are culinary mushrooms. We know what you're asking, and that's not what we do.
They want mushrooms.
Yes. So I get,
okay.
and I'm like,
I
you
see.
do understand that these are culinary mushrooms that
Okay.
go to restaurants. People use them in kitchens.
And you've had quite a lot of success.
We have.
Yeah.
You know, we've been growing now for a little, 16, 17
Yeah.
months. We started selling commercially within the first
3 months.
3 months. Yeah, that's right.
Those
Really.
small boxes, like 2 or 3 pound boxes.
Mhm.
So we have like 9 different restaurants that we work with at this point. Some get them every week. Some get them every couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So it just kind of depends on what's happening in town too. We like parades happening downtown
Yeah.
because that's where most of our restaurants
Uh-huh.
are. So
I really wish there was an N on the board that I could play against.
I know.
This is 2, 4, 6. Nice thing about this board is that it turns. You know,
That's
Just
it's
very
fantastic.
in case your eyes don't work properly, you can't see at an angle.
I suppose most people who play this game, they don't all sit directly next to each other like this, so
Yeah.
it's more important to
Hey, what was
rotate.
that letter you had?
I thought of a good word for you. Okay, so let's see. I don't know. It's a double word. So I've got 6 and so 12.
Okay, you're at 24. Right? Look at this. Okay, now the pressure's on because it's back to my turn. Okay, this is the word ruining. So
Okay.
Wow,
got
look
it.
at you. There's that N I needed just a minute ago.
It's long. It scores hardly any points.
Yeah. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Play something different.
Yeah. Oh,
I say ruin it.
I can do this.
How many do we have?
I don't know.
It's your responsibility to count.
What's you got going on here?
S-E-S.
I don't know that word.
It's the pronunciation of the letter S. It's one of those sneaky two-letter words.
I didn't know about that.
I see you have some things over on the table there.
Hand me the seeds. They're extremely aggressive. That would be one way.
They're extremely aggressive.
That would be one way of putting it. So I thought that they were going to do this cool spiraling thing, which
Well,
they do to some extent. But
Well, and you can actually train these to do
so, but that's why I decided to buy them. That and we thought, we have all this time.
The Serpent of Sicily.
Yes.
Yeah.
So see what these look like? They look like some sort of little Star Trek thing. And somebody could do some marvelous art with
Did you
those.
grow a beanstalk?
I'm not even kidding. This thing, what did we have, like 9
So
of them?
the first year we did this, we had 9 plants.
I mean, we saw it. Okay, yeah, it's 9.
nine,
Okay,
9
got it.
plants was too many.
So
It eventually took over our backyard.
it
Okay.
did.
Serious
Like,
business.
like,
So those vines grew
We're like,
so
oh.
fast, so prolifically.
and they kept going all the way across, hit the side of the garage, started climbing up the garage. We're like pulling it off of that. And then the ones along the other fence started growing. And so here we are out there, we're like attaching things to the top of the fence to keep them growing up.
These things, we
It
had
was nuts.
we had them growing straight up into the air for about 10, 12 feet at one point.
Yeah.
The FAA is going to get involved
I
at
know,
some point.
I know the neighbors were like, what is going on over there?
And, it was crazy.
Let's budgie some more things together. Yeah, look at these leaves. They're like this big.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and they stay, like, at the beginning of the week they'll be this big, and then by the end of the week they'll be this big. And so, depending on when you harvest these, they are also can be gourds.
Wait a
You let
second.
it go.
Oh,
So, yeah.
So this is one of the smaller fruits that we have grown.
That
That
we
was
let
a
grow.
seed when they came in here.
Definitely a Jack and the Beanstalk moment.
Yeah,
That's enormous.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And that'll feed about 10 people.
What the chefs like, and what we
Uh-huh.
were like in Italy, and the way we sold at the farmers market, they were more like 18 inches or so.
Okay.
But if you leave them too long, they do this, and they start to pull down your trellis and everything, and then they
Yeah.
stop producing. So we didn't end
Uh-huh.
up with as much last year as we did
Okay.
the year before.
So as long as you harvest them a little earlier.
Yes, but like
Yeah.
the first year,
And they have kind of a cucumbery taste to
Okay.
them.
they do.
Very light, very easy to add flavor to for
So
cooking.
we,
Like a zucchini. You
Yeah.
know, it really doesn't have its own flavor. It's the flavor that you cook into it
Right.
that makes it so yummy.
and if you're going to grow this, just make sure that you have time to dedicate to it, because it truly will be kind of like, I don't want to say Little Shop of Horrors, but you don't want to get too close to the building because you will lose the building. So,
And don't drop any seeds.
right, here's a loose seed.
It's been nice knowing you all.
Yes. We started making different things with them, because it was the summer of 2020. What else were we going to do? There was all kinds of stuff to do. So, that's the squash
This
marmalade.
is the squash marmalade.
So this is 2020,
Uh-huh.
and we brought this for you.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, and we brought you zucchini relish too, which does have some of it in it. So both for
Well,
you.
thank you.
We have the chickens and everything, and the eggs. So yes.
So this is also a product of your.
Literally, yes. So
This comes
Oh
from our
my
chicken yard.
goodness, I love it. Yes.
yeah. So and we even have these chickens that lay these itty bitty little eggs
Aw.
too.
For a light breakfast.
Adorable. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well.
You can decide how hungry you are.
That's right. Well, we boil them and then pickle them. But so these are also for you.
Those are for me too?
Yes.
My gosh. This
Yeah,
is the
you're
best.
making out. You're gonna
This is the
need
best
to-
show ever.
you
Thank
should
you.
wash them.
Mhm.
They're not washed, but
They don't need to be refrigerated until you wash them.
right, yeah.
Because they have.
They're
The
straight from
natural
yeah.
stuff. Those
Yeah.
they've been lightly polished, but
Mhm.
they have not been washed. So there's this cake that we make in my family, and Ranger cake is the cake that they let the kids make on their birthday.
Mhm.
You know, so it's Ranger cake. It's an oatmeal cake.
Yeah.
Real Ranger cake is made with applesauce. But over the years, and there have been times when I haven't had applesauce, and I've discovered that you could actually use anything that's kind of moist like
Yes.
applesauce, such as what are some of the? I think the strangest thing that I've done, besides this is probably the strangest thing I've done. But we
This-
did have a sweet potato one where I used like mashed sweet potatoes. Yeah, I mean it works. So apparently we're just.
The viewers have seen this on the front of the table this entire time. And they're like,
Hi,
what
yeah.
is it? What is it?
So this is a rain tree cake that I made. I used zucchetta squash that we had put in the freezer and an entire pint of the marmalade.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So it's not going to be as sweet as a cake would be, but and then I put in extra raisins.
Bon appetit.
Yeah.
Bon appetit.
Is it okay? So is it weird?
It's a little different
it's
than
a little
usual,
weird.
but I like it.
Okay.
It's
we
good
don't have
because
to finish this. The dog looks very needy.
dog is very needy. Yes. As a cake, it is not as sweet as most cakes that you would find, but it's still very tasty. This is actually the perfect amount of sweet. Well, we are going to finish our cake. We're going to finish our game. We'll let you know what happens later on, but we're going to let you go on with your day while we can go on with ours. Thanks so much for joining us today. This has been a lot of fun. Allison and Dave, thanks for joining me on today's show.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Thank you for bringing all of these things. I guess the bar is now set for anyone else in the future. So, gauntlet thrown.
Right.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.